Hello, people of the internet. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Happy Monday to you all. If you are seeing this video, that means, as kind of expected, but also unfortunately, the Unlock My World album for Fromist9 was blocked worldwide by Hive and Pledis. Still don't really understand why it's only Fromis out of Pledis that I get stuff blocked from. Because 17, their most recent EP, didn't get blocked. Minion's debut EP didn't get blocked, but the Fromis albums have. Not quite sure why. But that doesn't mean we didn't do one. Did in fact go and do one. It was like ended up being like an hour and 5 minutes long or something like that. We went through the entire album from start to finish. It was a brilliant time. I very much enjoyed it. If you want to watch along to the whole thing, just hear my actually in-depth thoughts on it. Link in the description below to take you to the P Cloud where we have all the deleted reactions, things like that. It'll also be on the spreadsheet, which is also linked below. But for those of you who kind of want the quick and dirty or the too long didn't watch breakdown for it, I have a notepad here of all the songs. I'm just gonna give you a very brief breakdown on how I felt about every single song. Starting off with Attitude. Boy, what a way to start an album. Super high energy. We're going from us at the club right off the rip. Oh, the mixing is wild. Lots of lefts and right, lots of panning. The production team went to town with this one. If you're a fan of like the really synth heavy like club vibe, oh, Attitude is the way to go. And it is such a good tone setter for the rest of the album too, because it really pumps up the energy from the rip. Then we move into, of course, the title hashtag Me Now. We watch that separately, but again, a, kind of a low key from his title track in comparison to their previous ones, but is very much kind of quintessential from us as well. It kind of reminds me of like My Little Society era a little bit. I like a mature My Little Society B-side for me. Which I mean, considering that was from like the deep dives that we did a little while ago, my favorite EP that they'd done, say that's pretty good props. Now, Wishlist is where we kind of get a little bit interesting, because both Wishlist and the next track In the Mirror kind of take a step back in the energy department. Now, if you started with Attitude, it was going to be pretty hard to match the energy of it, and while Me Now isn't like a really tame, quiet song, it isn't as energetic as Attitude, or at least outwardly energetic. I described it as like inwardly energetic, kind of like a controlled energetic in a way. But Wishlist very much is kind of like a little step down. It's like a surprisingly early ballad, if that makes sense. It's not like a quintessential ballad in a way, but both Wishlist and In the Mirror kind of take a step back and almost feels like a ballad. Especially, what was it? Yeah, especially like In the Mirror. Both Wishlist and In the Mirror go for this really chill vibe, this kind of slower vibe. In the Mirror really feels like a modern ballad to me, which is really interesting because we're not even halfway in the album yet, and they've already dropped a ballad on us. I commented about that, and it just kind of blows my mind because it's not what you'd expect. You don't expect a slower song this early on in the album, but that does remedy itself because once we move into track number 5, Don't Care, we go into this really kind of electro type beat, lots of Vocaloid vocals in it. It's if you like songs like Rocket Punch's Flash or kind of like EDM meets funk meets really heavy synth type of vibes, I think that'll be the song for you. It's got a pretty nice beat to it. And what's next? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Track number 6, Prom Night. Back to the club we go. I think it's more of a party beat than a club beat, but it does have kind of that like bouncy beat to it. Also, might have the most outrageous sequence of rhythms I've heard on a Fromist9 track to date. Like, the pre-chorus in this song rhythmically is so far out of the box that it's no longer square, it is circular now. Like, you have box, of like, Fromist9 like music pieces, like rhythm and keys and like kind of like syncopated rhythm, some vocals, raps, percussion parts. All of that is in the box. The rhythm in the pre-chorus for Prom Night is so far out of the box that it's no longer a box. It is spherical. Insert Drake and Josh meme here, but genuinely still reeling over that. It's been like an hour since I watched the album. And track number 7. The 7? Yeah, 7. Bring It On. I called it low-key funk. And genuinely, low-key funk is like it's almost like funk meets city pop in a way in terms of the rhythm of it. It's not blatantly a city pop song, but it is kind of like a hybrid between the two, and I quite enjoy it. It's again kind of another low key song, which if you like that kind of stuff, I reckon you're really gonna like it. Um, track number 8, yes, From Us at the Club Part 3. Now this one, From Us got me with a fake drop. I'm ashamed to admit it, but From Us got me with a fake drop. Once the chorus came around, I really was not sure if I was gonna like it because there's a very evident kind of strange taste in my mouth once I felt the first chorus drop. I'm thinking, no, From Us wouldn't do an anti-drop, would they? No, they delayed it 4 measures, and oh my goodness, the drop is absolutely glorious because of it. Interestingly enough, both the chorus and the post-chorus that follows it reminded me of two very different songs, Woo-Wah's Roller Coaster and Twice's Talk That Talk. If you listen to the song, you'll get what I'm like trying to get at. But it's such an interesting combination because both of them inherently do not sound very related to each other, but they fit very well, and especially after following up like the anti-drop is such a satisfying chorus drop. Very much enjoyed it. Track number 9, My Night Routine. Now this is almost being treated as like the final song on the album, so think of it as kind of like what your typical ballad would be in terms of position on the song. While it's not outwardly a ballad, it's very much a song that really brings the album back down to earth, kind of sets it down. Like you're on an airplane ride. Attitude was V1 rotate, you're feeling all the G's in your body. My Night Routine is that gentle landing sequence back down to the runway at your destination. It very much feels like a nighttime song. And I'm so glad they didn't go with a ballad to finish the album because, I mean, we already kind of got a ballad pretty early on. So the fact that they took essentially the essence of what a ballad does to the listener at the end of the album and kind of repackaged it in a different form is a really satisfying way to end the album. But technically not the actual end of the album because the final song on the album is Eye Contact. I'm guessing it's a fan song because every single member participated in the lyrics on it, but up until this point, it very much feels like a more mature, more refined, more polished kind of next era for Fromist9. But once Eye Contact comes around, oh, the feels of throwback Fromis are back. It is bright, it is bubbly, it is sparkly, it twinkles. The melody and the vocals just twinkle in your ears, and it is quintessential Fromist9 in a nutshell. And it's almost like we spent an entire adventure experiencing this brand new era of Fromist9. This really mature vibe. We're gonna get a Fromist 9.1, if you will. But then Eye Contact comes around. It's like, hey, don't forget us, and we get old Fromist9 back. And it's such a satisfying way to end the album. And genuinely, might be my favorite just because of that nostalgia factor for me. But there are some fire songs on this album, and it's quite a wide variety. Admittedly, you could group some songs together, but overall, the spread is very wide. I think general comments all throughout. The production direction is a little bit different. That's, I think, if you listen to even just the first half of the album, it's pretty evident. They're doing a lot more with soundscapes, wider soundscape, lots of lefts and rights. the way the vocals have been mixed. I said that we didn't really get a lot of powerful vocal moments, and that's primarily down to the fact that it happened so early on in the first song. Like, you get a vocal moment in Attitude, but apart from that, we don't really get like the high piercing vocals anymore. And when we do get the really high floaty vocals, they're primarily in ad libs and they're mixed pretty far back at the production level. So they almost feel like kind of a supplemental note where it kind of provides a little bit more meat to the melody than an actual ad lib that's meant to be heard, which I think is really cool in certain aspects, but it does make me miss the really powerful high notes because Jiwon and Hyung are more than capable of doing the really high note. I mean, look at the past discography we've looked through. We been knew that they can do a high note, and it makes me sad that we didn't get to hear maybe as much of it as we have in the past. But we got sprinklings of it in like little harmonies, and I thought that was really neat. Very synth heavy or like computer generated heavy, which I don't really mind at all. The club beats, especially, are obviously synth based, but the fact that we got a very wide genre of the club beats, like we went electro, we went just full club, we went a little bit funk on certain parts, and it's just there's a little bit of everything for everyone. But that is the quick and dirty of it, even though that was kind of just like 9 minutes of me rambling. Again, full thing down below if you want to check it out. But that is it from me today. Thank you all for listening along with me. Oh, actually, you know what? Let's do this. Ha! There we go. Thank you all for listening along to me ramble. Again, the quick and dirty. Full thing down below. Very much enjoyed it. Hopefully, Fromis can get a win with this. Although Im Young Woon did have a comeback today as well. And knowing anything about the Korean general public and Kim Jong-un's just astronomical popularity in music shows, I pray for Fromis. But this is a very cool era. I love the new direction they're going, this mature Fromist9. I'm very excited to see what kind of shenanigans we get out of this era. But one last message from me. Let us work together as a community to bring a little bit of extra happiness back into the world, whether it be, checking in with your friends and family, holding a door open for somebody, even picking up a piece of trash off the street. Just one small act of kindness that may brighten up someone else's day to day, and know that wherever you are in the world, should you ever be going through a tough time in your life for whatever reason it may be, even though I'm just some guy on the internet who waffles about music in his free time, know that I will always be a friend, an ally, and a shoulder to lean on whenever you need me. So take care of yourselves, take care of each other, spread the love, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.